Hello and welcome to another PowerMaths lesson. We are starting our new topic today. We're going to be looking at time and we're going to be going over what we learned in year 1 about time. Let's get going with a flashback forward to get our brains all warmed up and ready to start. Okay, here's today's flashback 4. Click pause, have a go, and then click play when you want to check your answers. Let's have a look at these answers then. Question 1, what time is shown on the clock? The time is 5 o'clock. We'll be having to think a lot about o'clock times today. Question 2, describe the turn made by the owl. Well, there's two ways you could have described it, either a quarter turn anti-clockwise or a 3/4 turn clockwise. Question 3, how long is the pencil? Well, it's 8 centimeters long. And question 4, what is 1/3 of 6? The answer is 2. Let's get started on today's PowerMaths lesson. Okay, here's your Discover Today. You can see that there are some whale watching trips that have been organised in this picture, and the children would like to know what times the trips leave. Question 1 says, what times do the trips leave? And part B says, what time do you think the last clock will show? Notice that this last clock has been covered up by the life jackets here. So things to consider when you're having a go at this Discover. What does the shorthand on the clock tell you? What does the longhand tell you? And can you spot a pattern? Click pause, have a go, and click play, and we'll share our answers when you're done. Let's talk about our Walt and Wilf today then, and share the answers. Our Walt, to tell the time at the hour and half past the hour. And our Wilfs, to identify and read the hour hand, to identify and read the minute hand, and to recognise when the time is o'clock or half past the hour. Let's talk about that Discover then. So here are the whale watching times. Notice what Sparks is saying. When the minute hand points to 12, it's an o'clock time, and when it points to 6, it is a half past time. And here you can see an example of that. In both of these clocks, and I've made it even bigger here so you can really see, the minute hand is pointing up for o'clock and pointing straight down towards the 6 for half past. So these were the times. We had 11:30, 12 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, and 2 o'clock. And do you notice that the time is increasing by 30 minutes each time? We have half past the hour and then on the hour, and the pattern repeats. Part B, the next half past time after 2 o'clock looks like this. So you can see what's happened here. This was the last time we could see 2 o'clock, and we'd spotted the pattern that it was increasing by 30 minutes or half an hour each time. And you can see that the minute hand has travelled halfway around and is now pointing down at the 6, and the hour hand was pointing at the 2 for 2 o'clock and has now travelled halfway between 2 and 3. So the last clock will show half past 2. Let's practice some of these in our Think Together. So question 1 in our Think Together. What time is it? Remember, today we're only looking at times which are either o'clock or half past the hour. Some things to consider then. We need to look at where the hour hand is pointing, where the minute hand is pointing, and then decide, is it past the hour or on the hour? So let's have a look at this first clock up here. If we look at the minute hand first, we can see that it's pointing straight up at the start of the hour, ready to go all the way around. So it's no minutes past the hour, it's exactly on the hour, and we call that o'clock. Now we need to know which hour it's on, and so we need to look at the hour hand now. And if we look at the hour hand, we can see that it's pointing straight towards the 3. So the time must be 3 o'clock. Let's have a look at question 2. What time is it? Same question. Well, let's do the same process. We'll start off with the minute hand. We can see that the minute hand is pointing straight down, which means it's travelled half the way round the clock, which means it's half past one of the hours. Now, we don't know which hour it's gone past, so we need to look at the hour hand. The hour hand was on the 3 and it's gone past the 3 halfway, so it's 3:30. The time is 3:30. Let's just have a look at that one in a bit more detail because it's important to understand how the hands have moved since 3 o'clock. The minute hand has gone half the way around the clock and is now pointing down. Because we've gone 30 minutes since 3 o'clock, the hour hand has also moved. It's moved halfway between the 3, where it would be at 3 o'clock, and the 4, where it would be at exactly 4 o'clock. So it's moved from pointing at the 3 to halfway between the 3 and the 4. Now it's time for you to have a go on the challenge. So, question 3 says, which circle would you sort each clock into? And you've got the choice of o'clock times or half past times. Think to yourself, how can you use the minute hand to make this really easy? Taking what we've just learned and easily sorting these times. Notice what Spark is saying. Did you notice where the minute hand was each time? So he's reminding you just what I've reminded you. Focus on the minute hand. And then part B and C say, where does the minute hand point for o'clock times and where does the minute hand point for half past times? Have a go at that. Click pause here and then click play when you want to check. Ready to check? Let's start off with o'clock times. These are times where the minute hand is pointing straight up towards the 12. And there were 3 of them. We had A, D, and F. And you can see in all of them, the minute hand is pointing straight up at the 12. Then we had half past times, and let's have a look at which one these were. B, C, E, and G. And in each of them, you can see the minute hand is pointing straight down towards the 6. And we've answered part B and C. Where does the minute hand point for the o'clock? Straight up at the 12. And where does it point for half past? Straight down at the 6. Time for you to practice in your practice book, and today you are working on page 58. There's an extension question afterwards, so click pause here, have a go, and then click play when you want to do that final question. Well done on having a go in your practice book. Let's do one final question to think about what we've learned today. So, true or false? The clock shows 7:30. Okay, have a think about that. Click pause here, and when you've decided true or false, click play to find out the answer. The answer is, in fact, false. Now, I can see why you would think that this one was true. However, if it was 7:30, the hour hand should be halfway between 7 and 8. Look where it is. It's pointing straight at the 7 when the minute hand is showing that it's gone half the way around the hour. So it should be 7:30, and this hour hand should be pointing halfway between 7 and 8. You can see on this clock, that's where it was, and that's where it should have been, pointing halfway between 7 and 8. Even though that minute hand can easily tell us whether it's o'clock or half past, we need to look at the hour hand as well, especially when we're drawing our own clocks, and check that we've drawn it halfway between the hours when we've got a time that is half past. Okay, we'll finish there for today. Well done on a great start to our new topic. I'll see you again for the next lesson soon.